Blah. Ah!
I am Ran and welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to go over some free software, which is nothing different. I'm great at this. YouTube, can you give me a raise? Or monetization? So I wanted to go over some free software I use instead of Adobe products and other sort of media creation tools that I use. I've touched on this a little bit in my VTuber tutorial for Linux and Windows, because a lot of these are cross-platform, so you can use them as well. But everything I'm going to mention today works for sure on Linux, and the vast majority of them also work on Windows. I have no idea about Mac. M1 Macs are a thing now. I have no idea what's happening with Mac compatibility with anything anymore, so Mac users, I'm sorry. With that, let's get right on into the video. All right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is what I use for image editing, which is GIMP. I showed this in that video. I've made a couple other dedicated videos about it. I freaking love this thing. And I literally refer to it as just free Photoshop. So like if I want to make a thumbnail, I make all my stuff at 1080p and then downscale them if they need to be. So I'm just going to create new. I've got it preset to 1080p. There we are. And you can take a paint tool and you can just set your brush size. You can draw and oh God, I think I've disabled GPU acceleration in GIMP on accident. Oh, okay, so ignore how that's taken a minute. It's usually not that bad. On my laptop, it is super snappy. Apparently, I fucked up a setting somewhere. Let's turn that down. There it goes. That's normal. That's more like what it'll be like. I don't know why it got so bad when it got that big. That was weird. It's never done that before. But anyway, you can draw with it. If you are like a digital artist that does drawings, like with the stylus and stuff, I would say this is more for graphics and like Photoshop sort of stuff. If you want to do those sort of things, well, I'll show you that later. But yeah, some other stuff GIMP can do is that you can do like the magic select, so you can select everything of a color. You can hold shift and add to the selection and get everything in between. And then you can just grab your eraser and you can erase giant sections of it. You have to add an alpha channel in order to do that. But yeah, you can like erase these big old sections where you've selected and stuff like that. Oh, I selected selected the black as well. Oopsies, that's my fault. But yeah, no, GIMP's a great little tool. It's free. It does basically everything Photoshop can do. If you can't find something that Photoshop can do that GIMP can't do, there's probably a plugin to do it. Also, just fuck Adobe. They've done all sorts of really scummy stuff. Like all their layer effects are a patented code that they made that no one else is allowed to use, hence why nothing else can open PSD files fully and correctly, because Adobe doesn't let them. So that's fun. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. You can type out words. If I could set it to a color that you can see that I typed a bunch of random nonsense that don't actually mean anything. But yeah, you've got layers. You can hide, unhide layers. You've got a bunch of transformation tools. You can warp transform, you can cage transform, which cage transformation is really cool. You if I deselect actually, and then do it, if you like, you make like a little cage around what it is you want to transform, and then you can warp it accordingly. So you can stretch and you can smush, and these do take a while to render a little bit. That also may be because I broke GPU acceleration apparently on GIMP, so I need to find out how to fix that real quick. But on Windows, it should render a little bit better. And you can warp it into doing whatever you want. This was a terrible cage, but you get the idea. This is not supposed to look good. This is just me screwing around. You got path selection, so you can create paths, so you can smooth curves. It's the same as the pen tool in Photoshop. You got the text, you got smudge, you got clone stamps, you've got all these transformations. There's like my absolute favorite one that I use all the time, the 3D transform, which I use on my text for my thumbnails, which I freaking love that tool. That makes it look so good, so easy. It is fantastic. And you get the standard like move tools and stuff and selections. And you got scissor select, so you can select out certain shapes and turn that into a selection if you want, which I'm not gonna right now, but yeah, you can do that. And you've got like a crop tool, so you can crop to whatever you want. But yeah, GIMP is a fantastic, great tool. It's completely free. You can do basically everything you do in Photoshop with it. The only drawback being that certain things in Photoshop you'll have to take a couple extra steps because Adobe's locked it behind patents to where no one else can do it, which is really annoying. and it just stifles any sort of competition, which is not fun. But moving on, I'm not gonna save this. So what I was referring to earlier is a little program called Krita, or Krata, or Krata? I don't know. I call it Krita. I don't know if that's the proper way to pronounce it. Yeah, Krita. It is a digital art workstation. It is geared more towards people who are like drawing with a stylus and those sort of things. So it's got like a lot more brushes. It's able to do a lot more paint related stuff. So it's focused on like this anime style and its marketing and stuff, but you can definitely do a lot more than just the anime style, says the person who is literally an anime character. Anyway, this is Krita. I really don't use this very much. I just installed it to show it off here. Oop, I didn't mean to do that. Let's start a new image. That's pretty big. Here we are. And you've got like all these different brushes. You can set different colors and you draw with them. See, this is already a lot. Yeah, this has got some stuff that I don't fully understand. There's like airbrush, which, okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty cool. Okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. I've never really actually messed around with Krita. This is already pretty fun. Let's choose another color. Let's go with blue for this guy. I don't know what these are, but we're gonna try them. Oh, they're just more pens. Cool. Is there a difference between them? How do I zoom in? Oh, it's just scroll wheel. Okay. It's not holding down anything, it's just scroll wheel. This one seems to be giving smoother edges, so... Oh, Jesus, that's hurting. Red on blue, that hurts. Let's go back to black, and let's look at the paintbrush. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, this is absolute... a garbage paint. This is modern art, okay? This is modern art. If you don't understand it, you just don't get it then. Ooh, is this charcoal? Oh, cool. And you can like fuck around, I assume, with these brushes and edit them to do a lot more than just what the defaults are. Oh, it turns as you move the thing. God, this looks like it's great for styluses, so it actually feels like you're painting. That's cool. But yeah, that's Krita. It is a lot more like for artsy sort of stuff, less so for people like me who are just doing moving around shapes and modifying them, which you can do a lot of cool art stuff when with GIMP, but it's geared more towards photo editing rather than creating art. Anyway, moving on. No, I do not want to save this disgusting thing I created. If you create stuff with vectors to where you're making logos and stuff like that, Inkscape is a completely free open source vector image editor that I have never used. There we go. We made a vector. We made a shape. It's a house. It's tilted sideways. I'm smart. But yeah, you can create vector images. You can make them into whatever shape you want. So yeah, you got that. I kind of screwed that up. But yeah, and you can make little vector shapes. There's a bunch of different tools. You got that, so you can draw it as a vector, which that's kind of cool. If you got a stylus, then you can make all sorts of funky little shapes. There we go. And now you've completed it. And now you got another vector. And you can zoom in. And because it's a vector image, it's never going to lose resolution because it's vector. I should honestly learn how to make stuff in vector images for like logos. Because my logo is, it's literally just an image I made in GIMP. I should learn how to translate it into a vector image, and so that I can scale it infinitely. But yeah, that's it. You can make little shape tools. You can make all these cool. Hey, look! I made the Microsoft Azure logo. Hire me. I'm a genius. I did this by accident, but it kind of looks like it. Oh my god. Oh, that's kind of funny. I actually have no idea what Microsoft Azure is for. I've never used it. But yeah, and you can like move stuff around and manipulate them, and you can squish it down. And oh my god, I think it actually looks more like it now. That is hilarious how I've accidentally done that. That's pretty fucking funny. That's just the default color, I guess. You can do like this swirly thing, which makes a spiral, which is really cool. All praise Lord Helix. So yeah, all praise Lord Helix. You got your basic shapes, a square, your circle, your star. I don't think I would consider that one a basic shape, but I guess you can do stuff with it. Actually, you could probably make arrow points and stuff. And yeah, Yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff you could probably do with a star shape. Moving on. Whoop. But that is, no, I'm not going to say it. That is, Inkscape. I've not used a lot of these programs. I just know they exist and their purposes. I don't know how they compare to the Adobe version. I'm just saying these are alternatives. For example, if you are fed up with Adobe, because let's face it, Adobe sucks, but they've become the industry standard, which is the only reason they're still around. If more people went out of their way to stop using Adobe products, for one thing, Adobe might be more competitive and actually make their stuff somewhat affordable instead of charging you $200 a year to use it, or $50 a month to use one program. We're going to be moving on. Close without saving. The next up is one of my personal favorites, Kdenlive, which is the video editor I use to edit all of my videos. I love this thing. I was previously using Vegas Pro, but since swapping to Linux, I've changed over to using Kdenlive because it has a very similar interface. It's not perfect. It's not a one-to-one match, but it is very similar. Apparently, there's also, I think it's a fork of Kdenlive called Clip Studio. Not Clip Studio. That's a painting program. Shotcut or something like that. But apparently, it's either based on it or it's very similar to it. I can't remember. I mean, Kdenlive is open source, so it very well could just be a fork of Kdenlive that they added in some of the stuff. But apparently it has like GPU rendering, which I may need to check out and see if I like it more. But anyway, this is my video editor. This is how I edit all my clips. You have all these different effects and stuff, and there's a whole lot. And if you don't know what you're doing, it's very overwhelming. A lot of these, I still don't know what they do. I mainly use, let's pull up, if I can pull up my starred ones. This is really all I use for editing, which is the transform, position, and zoom, which is how I do all the zoom edits. Volume, so I can adjust the volume after the fact, and it's keyframeable, so it can fade in and out and stuff like that. And then saturation to make it black and white. And that's about it. That's about all I use for the entirety of every video I make. These tools alone are like YouTube Toolbox, the basic Toolbox starter toolkit you get. These are the tools you will use. Every single YouTuber uses the majority of these, or their editing programs equivalents of them. For more advanced editing and stuff, you just add to it. You're still using these, you just add more stuff in. But yes, this is my editing program. I'll probably record it some while I'm editing some footage to throw in right here of me actually editing the video after the fact. Just a quick look at this while I'm editing. This is what the timeline looks like in Kdenlive, and you can see all the stuff I do. I have little markers down so that I can know what I need to do where. So like for this one, I have a zoom cut. So if I take, where are my favorites? Position and zoom right here. I just set it to about 150. And this is how I edit all my videos. There we go. -150. Okay, that's what I'm going to use for all. So this first one I make is going to be the preset that I use for any other time I see this tag. So if I see zoom cut again, I'm going to literally just copy this and paste it over. But yeah, that's how you go from there to there. And then something like this, where it's a zoom out, I would instead do, if I drag this over, go to position zoom, position 1, it's 100. We're going to keep doing it up until right here, where I'm going to add another point. Then I'm going to go, nope. I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go up 1 frame. I'm going to add another one, and that one will be set to 250, being... shouldn't need to go down quite as much, right? No, I need to go down a little bit further. So it's going to be closer to 200. That works. All right, and this one's going to be to 50% from normal. So as it goes across, you can see it starts zooming out, and then it jumps to, and It zooms the fuck in real quick. It gets that really cool sort of. So it gets that zoom out, and then it just suddenly zooms back in. And yeah, that is how I edit my videos. So with that, we are going to move on to the next program. Yes, there are more. Audacity, you probably know this one, you're probably familiar with it, you're probably using it. It's great, use it. It's cool, it's free, and it's on everything. If you are on Linux and you want to get more advanced, more like Adobe Audition sort of thing, you can instead use Ardor when it loads. But this is Ardor, so this is going to be a lot more like Adobe Audition. This is going to be a full-fledged digital audio workstation, or DAW, or DAW, however you want to say it. I say DAW because it's saying a word is easier than saying DAW. Yeah, this is the DAW that I used to make that April Fool's video. Still proud of it. I have disgraced this DAW by creating memes in it, and I will not apologize. But on top of that, this will also be the DAW that I'm going to be using when I record music, which I am working on something. I have a song actually written, which is weird because I've never actually finished a song, and I finished one in like one night. I had to make some little tweaks to it afterwards, but it's a finished lyric song. I just need to start making the actual music and recording, which is cool. So that's going to be coming in probably a couple months, years. I don't know how long it takes to make music. I've never actually gotten this far. But yes, this is what you can do. You can add in tracks and MIDIs and all sorts of cool stuff. I'm not a music production. Yeah, I mean, that's true, but that's not what I was trying to say. I'm not a music producer. If you want to see what all that Ardor and some other free programs can do, especially on Linux, check out Unfa. I will have him linked below. He is a professional music producer that uses only free open source software and Linux, and it's kind of insane the stuff he makes. I just love watching him just turn stuff. And he makes a lot of tutorials too. So if you really want to learn how to use Ardor really well, definitely check out his videos and see what you can do there. Now moving on away from like Adobe products and more to stuff like Microsoft Office. What is something you can use instead of Microsoft Office, because you can't keep paying Microsoft for this program that you only really need to open a couple Word documents every couple months? Do you really want to buy a program to do that? Well, you could use the web version, which is what a lot of people actually use. Even Linux users will do that because it's the one that works on the web. It's fine. It's awesome. But if you want a dedicated program on your desktop, my recommendation is OnlyOffice. OnlyOffice is a complete Office suite all in one. You have it's on the wrong screen. You have, okay, so you can see all my, what is Questbook? Oh, that's for Curse of Strahd. Cool. You can see like all my old scripts and stuff like that. But yes, you have a document editor, you have a spreadsheet editor, and you have a PowerPoint editor or a presentation editor. And they're all just built into one. Unfortunately, currently there is no dark mode, which is the only real drawback to it. It's coming. They're working on an update where it will be included. It's just not out yet. And it probably won't be out for a couple more months. Now, this is a nice way to keep everything combined into one. Their PowerPoint, their slideshow presentation one feels like the Microsoft PowerPoint I grew up using in like middle and high school, which was the one I used in middle school. I think was like the one with the big Microsoft button in the corner. Windows 7. What was the big one on Windows 7? I can't remember. But that's the main one that you do. They also default to like Calibri and Arial so that they work with all those Microsoft fonts, which is good because that means you get better compatibility. Personally, I don't use them. I wish I could change my default font from Arial to Open Deja Vu Sans because I like how that looks a bit more. Like, they're not terribly different. This one I think is, I like the capitals more. I mean, they're almost identical, so there's really no difference. I just like this one because it's an open font. But that is OnlyOffice. You're able to do everything you can do. It has a super high compatibility. I think it's somewhere like 99 or probably not 99, probably close to like 95% of all Microsoft Office documents will open perfectly in this. The worst thing that may happen is that maybe the header or footer might be a little weird, but it shouldn't be too hard to fix, honestly. And that's a maybe. I actually haven't opened a document with a header or footer in this. So I may want to do that. I remember when I used to use, back when it was on Windows, AVWord was what I used instead of Microsoft Word, and it would always screw up the header and footer. I lost points in school for that. That was not fun, because I couldn't afford Microsoft Office. So it's like, well, what's a free one? Hey, this is free, and I just installed it on my Windows laptop. Didn't think to check it. It actually wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for the time. Unfortunately, they no longer develop it for Windows. It's only for Linux. But if you're on Linux, you may as well use like OnlyOffice or LibreOffice. LibreOffice is another really good alternative. It comes pre-installed on a lot of distributions. And it's got slightly lower compatibility with it. I think it's like 87% compatible somewhere. These numbers are not exacts. They're guesstimates. But it actually has a dark mode and stuff, so I'm kind of tempted to switch to that till OnlyOffice gets its dark mode update, because the rest of my computer is dark mode themed and I kind of like dark mode. But this is probably one of the best alternatives to Microsoft Office you can do. And this one is also on Windows and I think Mac as well. It's also on Android and iPhone, though I've tried the Android version and it's not great. In all honesty, I love this on desktop. It's not great on mobile. It might work better on a tablet. I only tried it on my phone, so take the mobile version with a grain of salt. Now, next we have VTuber programs. So if you want something free to use for a 3D avatar, you can use VSeeFace, and it's great. However, if you're on Linux and you want something running natively, rather than running like VSeeFace through Wine, there is OpenSeeFace-GD, which is this guy right here. Now, it is still in beta. This is version 0.4.0, and this is the default model. So if I load one of my VRMs, you can see. One moment, please. Oh, it's gonna take its sweet ass time to open. Okay, so apparently I can't record it while I'm using my current avatar, and I don't want to go through the annoyance of setting this back up, of setting up VTube Studio again. So we're just we're gonna kill that real quick. But anyway, OpenSeeFace.gd is a currently in very early stage of development 3D modeling program. It is going to support the VRM avatars. Currently it supports VRM avatars, so basically the same avatars used in VTube Studio. So you can make your avatar in that and then throw it in here and it works great. Except it doesn't, because it's early access. It's on its development time. By the time that this video is, I'd say a couple weeks older, the dev has pushed out 2 or 3 new versions the past like month or so. So it's having a currently rather speedy development. It has eye blink tracking and mouth tracking, and they work all right. They're not perfect, but they're good enough. There's no lip shapes in them, so it's going to be just open and closed mouth, kind of like what a 2D avatar does. Although a 2D avatar does have a little bit of mouth shapes. But I will definitely keep you updated about OpenSeeFace-GD, because it is going, once it gets a little bit further in development, it will be the program I use for my 3D model, which is currently, I might be bringing back, because outfits are a lot easier to do in a 3D model than they are a 2D model. And speaking of 2D models, VTube Studio works on Linux. And it's free, kind of. If you don't pay for the $15 DLC, there will be a watermark down here. Now, I have gone ahead and paid. I know my whole channel is about free software, but I went ahead and paid for this because I'm very invested in the development. This is the dev's source of income for this project, is the tracker DLC. And it's only $15, and you don't need to use it. You don't need to pay for it in order to use VTube Studio. You can definitely just like prop it out and move yourself over. They allow that in the terms and conditions. So like legally you can do that. It's just kind of a dick move to do it. But if you do need something that is completely free and not watermarked, there is an alternative, which is Peer Live. This guy right here. Now I'm not gonna start the tracking on it. I'm just gonna open it up and show you. And it should load my model fairly quickly, because it should be saved in there. But this is what I was using before I got VTube Studio working on Linux, which, as you can see, I'm currently running my face tracker right here. You can see when I blink, it like tracks it in this section. It's a lot better tracking because it's Emiliana's OpenSea face, which is what VTube Studio uses. God, I love that tracking so much. It's so well made. It was just made, I think, if I remember correctly, Emiliana made VC face on a whim as just a, hey, I made a cool, really nice tracker. Here's something to kind of show what it can do. And then it evolved into actually becoming one of the best 3D VTuber programs, which I still think is pretty funny. But anyway, yes, this is Peer Live. So this is the interface I'm actually a lot more familiar with. The tracking is a lot more basic. You have two different kinds. There is the game emoji DLC that I bought to try out, only to find out that it doesn't work. Don't waste your money on it. And then the built-in free capture, which currently we can't use because the camera's being used with stuff, but if I try to use it, it will freeze the program, which will be annoying. But yeah, this is what I used before. It's got like the same sort of emotes support and all that stuff as VTube Studio. I have them set to slightly different hotkeys, and Peer Live I have a Control Shift QWE, and Peer Live I have it just Control QWE because you can't set more than 2 keys, which is a little annoying. But yeah, Peer Live, it works well. The tracking on the basic tracking, if you move too much like this, it'll just stop tracking and stay still until you stop moving, and then it'll continue tracking. If you're a lot more chill, you don't move around crazy, it's a lot more subtle movements, it works great. And it's actually very nice tracking. If you move around a lot more, just go ahead and use VTube Studio. And either just like crop out the watermark or pay for it. I say pay for it. Definitely pay for it. If you can afford it. If you can afford it, pay for it. That's key thing. If you can afford it. This stuff I'm showing you is to save you money. If you can't afford to buy the DLC to get rid of the watermark in VTube Studio, just try out using Peer Live and just being a little more subtle. God, I hope this doesn't come off as me saying how to cheat VTube Studio, because I really like the software. I don't want Denshi to make the money off it. Denshi, I'm sorry if this sounds bad. I want people to buy your thing. Oh man. But that is going to do it, everyone. That is going to be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope some of this software could maybe give you something that you could either start using yourself to save some money instead of buying Adobe products, or if you want to get away from Adobe and you need some alternatives, go ahead and try them out. They're all free, so you can try them and you can see if they will work for your workflow. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I am Ren. I will see you all next time in the next video. Peace out.